no one told you that you lived on a ball, would you think that?
Absolutely not.
You would have no reason to ever think that. There's no indication whatsoever that you're spinning on a ball in space. Nothing. Ancient astronomers, there's no way they thought that.
No, they didn't.
No way. Oh my God. I've never seen this before on a globe. This is super telling. See, it says Tropic of Cancer right here. Pretend I ripped this open and splayed it out. So now it's a big flat Earth map. Where it says Tropic of Cancer, that's the sun's path. That's why the days are longer in the summer. And then Tropic of Capricorn is down here.
Yeah, there you go.
And the sun is taking
It's a wider
path,
circle.
So the days are shorter and the sun is lower in the sky.
It makes so much sense.
You would expect to see a black void, a disk, a black nothingness moving through the night sky, but there's nothing there. The moon ceases to exist. It's not in the sky. It's gone. Let's do what we're here to do. The ball Earth is super stupid, and it's not a matter of IQ, because there are people who have incredibly dangerously high IQs, but they think they live on a spinning ball in space, which automatically makes you retarded. So this was the proof that got me way early on. This is the one that I believe is absolutely undeniable. In 2015, when all this clicked for me, there was one thing that absolutely cannot be explained. This is the one proof that convinced me pretty much single-handedly, and this is scientific at its core. What I mean by that is you can use the scientific method, the key 3 points being it's observable, measurable, and repeatable, and it's also a scalable experiment because you can do it like this. And gravity is none of those things. Orbit is none of those things. A ball spinning balls in space is none of those things. Space travel is none of those things. I can just keep going and going. It's unscientific at its core. We can use science for things like how much light does that reflect, and then you can do your own experiment and use something that's perhaps less reflective. That's what science is, right? So this one is observable. All right, family, stay with me. Corey is holding the sun. Commander is holding the Earth. Can you hold it here out in the center? Because our Earth is going to be rotating around it. You may need to use your imagination just a little, but when it clicks, and it will, when it clicks, it's undeniable. All right? Here we are in Boise, Idaho. We are this Post-it note here. And here we are at the Tropic of Capricorn. This is late December. Okay? It's December 21st. This is the winter solstice at noon. You can see us. It's high noon. Okay? December 21st, winter. We're facing the sun. Okay? Now, as we come around, now we're approaching spring, right? Now, this is a sub-note. Not only can you see the same constellations in the night sky, because think about it. This is us. It was nighttime here, and it was also nighttime over there, yet we can see the same stars. It doesn't make any sense. It's literally that simple. That's point 1. Point 2 is, as we come around, here's day, here's night, here's day, here's night, here's day. Now it's the Tropic of Cancer, which is high noon in the summer. And not only can I still see the same constellations, and now night is the complete opposite direction. People don't make that connection. 6 months ago, night was that way. Now night is this way. Do you know what that means? That's definitive proof that midnight and midday would switch throughout the year. No 24 hours would be the same. It would switch every single day by 4 minutes. But that's not what happens. I grew up with a grandfather clock in my house. It was never serviced.
No.
It worked for 35 years.
Right.
You just wind it. Yeah.
It's the same 24 hours on repeat.
Sure. Right.
The days don't change.
Yeah.
Like, if that doesn't strike your face like a hammer, then I don't know if I can help you. The day, midnight would be 6 in the morning on the equinox, but it's not. If you set your phone to wake up 3 months from now, which is only a little bit of the way, it's going to be the same 24 hours.
Right.
Midday would be midnight on the other side of the sun. Does Einstein have an explanation for that? You guys understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Do you fully understand what I'm saying? Because this is the one where it's like a hammer should hit you in the face and go, we are not revolving around the sun.
Yeah.
The constellations, although they're not the same, you can still see some of the same ones.
Right.
You
Yep.
can see the North Star. It doesn't move.
Right. That's the big one for me.
That's
Polaris.
the biggest one.
It's always been in the
Can
same
anyone
spot.
answer that? Why doesn't Polaris move?
And also, all the stars circle Polaris or appear to be circling Polaris.
Yeah,
They do.
you put a long exposure camera and you leave it there, and you just watch everything rotate around it.
I've done that myself 10 billion times.
That's cool.
Yeah, I told you I lived in Colorado for a while, and I used to take pictures of the stars like a madman. I did it in Vegas too, out in the desert. But when you take those long exposure photographs, it's very humbling because it shows that there's something much greater at work, and we're not just spinning around like monkeys that are an accident.
Totally.
It shows that we're divinely created by a divine creator. Like, that's irrefutable proof. We are likely the center of the universe, and things are happening over us. You can never be grounded on a spinning ball floating in a void aimlessly. You'll never be grounded. I think that's a huge part of the why.
The why.
Yeah.
They want you debased. They don't want you to know who you are. They don't want you to remember who you are and what you are. You are a spirit having a temporary experience, and this even lines up with Christianity. And if it doesn't, then it should. But you're temporarily animated. That's what you are. And your spirit is doing that. Where your spirit came from, obviously, I am human myself, believe it or not. I can't say with certainty, but I can take in the evidence from all around me and near-death experiences and things like ancient books that so many people love and, model their lives after. And it's all kind of the same story. You come here, you do the right thing, you evolve.
Well, and I just think there's so much intentionality. We talk about this too, of like, there's just so much intentionality in life. Like, zebras don't have the same pattern. You can cut a tree open and none of the rings are the same. Our fingerprints aren't the same. Like, that takes intentionality. And again, like, even though like you would say you're not religious, right? I don't like to even say that I'm religious.
Yeah, we don't use the word religious.
I do believe in like God. I believe in Jesus. But I do think that it's interesting that like, even though we're kind of on different like ends of the spectrum, we still kind of made the same conclusion of like, we have a purpose. Like, we were created for a purpose. We're here for a reason. We weren't an accident. Again, it's like identity, right? And it's like, where are you getting your identity from? And at the end of the day, it's like, that is something you can stand firm on. And if you know who you are, like, you're pretty unshakable, I would say. So that's
and less controllable. I think that's a big why too. Why they lie, like you were saying, to make you feel like an accident in a little speck of dust in an ever-expanding universe, just swirly through life, and everything's meaningless. Yeah, go kill your unborn baby. Who cares? You're an accident.
Like, you have no purpose.
But to me, that's such an obvious answer as to the why question. It's like it's just a massive, great deception, and it makes us way more docile, way more controlable.
Way too busy to care. That's another
that
thing.
Too.
You're too busy chasing
they keep us
money
busy.
to survive.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
You're just in the machine.
Money is the root of all evil. That's
the rat race.
Saying for a reason.
Yeah.
It's the grand distraction. And it's meant to rip you away from living your life. But instead, you're just surviving. More flat earth stuff.
Do you want to expound on stars? Because I think one thing that people, when you say like the earth is flat and like, they still think the sun's 93 million miles away. They still think the moon's like 250,000 miles away. They still think the stars are suns light years away. But no, everything is placed within, let's just say the firmament is there. It's all local. It's all close and rotating around us. So like stars, for example, I want to hear your thoughts on that because like you said before, it's such a cool topic because it's something people can actually go out and do experiments and prove it. And one of the things people do is they take these cameras, high power zoom cameras, and they zoom in to these stars and they are not suns.
No.
So I want to hear about your thoughts on that.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Ooh.
We don't wonder anything else about it. We wonder what it is.
Did you, since we're talking about stars and suns, did you see when they zoomed in? Remember, this guy got a camera, he zoomed in on the sun, and the sun actually, it almost looked like magnetic.
Oh, yeah. He used like a solar, he used a lens.
Some kind of UV lens or something.
Yeah.
Boy, the sun's a great mystery. I know more about the moon because I can stare at it. It's literally that simple.
That's a good point.
I can't stare at the sun.
Right.
Well, and the sun and the moon have completely opposite properties as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
we'll get into that's huge flat Earth proof. And the eclipses, boy, we got a lot of.
Okay. I'm excited to hear more.
We're gonna let you just roll.
We'll use this. This is our flat plane. I like to get into it here.
Our tinfoil mugs coming in clutch right now.
Yeah, they are.
A lot of flat Earth mockery and misconception and misunderstanding comes from not knowing the flat Earth model. And I'm not saying there's some magical flat Earth map that perfectly shows all the land masses and the perfect size of the sun and the perfect. I'm not saying that. What we need to do is get rid of that idea of absolute science. Absolute science, it really destroys the wonder. It steals the wonder from life. And that's what I'm after, really, because somewhere in the wonder lies the truth, I think, personally. So the problem with flat Earth is, like you said, people think that the sun is still this massive thing. The very common one I get is, if the sun is, flat Earth doesn't work because how is it nighttime on some of the land, right? Wouldn't the sun just illuminate the entire flat Earth? That's not what's going on. If this were the Earth and all the land that we know, the sun is probably a pinprick or way smaller than that even. You know, picture a needle being pricked through this. It's could be even 100 times smaller than that if this was the known lands right here. So the first thing you got to understand is the scale. And the sun and the moon, they travel nearly the same path at nearly the same speed. That's why the sun's 24 hours and then they eclipse each other. And the moon is just under 25 hours. And they travel the same path through the sky, and the sun is just faster. I'm also open to the theory that I've heard that the moon is an old malfunctioning sun. I'm open to that. And I'm open to, the Greeks had stories of, have you heard the story of Endymion and Selene?
I have not.
Selene is the story of the moon.
Oh, I have.
And the Proselenes, so pro meaning before. So the Greeks have stories of a time before the moon. And you know who else has that is the ancient Zulu in Africa and the ancient Aboriginals of Australia. They also have tales of a time before the moon. David Icke also wrote books about how the moon is artificial and how it was implanted in our sky for whatever reason, probably reincarnation or recycling, to put a more like brutal term on it. Reincarnation implies some level of beauty, but this is more like a machine churning you in, like spawning you into the terror, basically. And that's kind of, the reptilians control the machine that respawns you into the hell game, basically, is what we're talking about. So, the scale and model, guys, not you guys, everyone else, the sun is not a giant fireball. It's something else entirely. What exactly it is, I don't know. Like I said, I know more about the moon because you can stare at it, and the moon has obvious phases, which you can study. The sun is just this glaring yellow ball. But the sunlight and the moonlight are different, and I want to go on record and say the moon is self-illuminating. I get a lot of death threats over that. I get a lot of don't reproduce. I get a lot of I must be a joy at Thanksgiving. I get a lot of that for saying that the moon. I challenge someone to prove that the moon is illuminated by the sun. There's no evidence of that. Sunlight and moonlight are completely different. The sun's light is warm and preserving. It decreases combustion in a fire. It's yellow and dry, whereas it also cleanses and purifies. And all going back to like the Tartaria stuff, the ancient hospitals and everything, not ancient, but 200 years ago, all hospitals had sun decks.
Yeah, I know.
And it was essential for them to roll the
We're living a long time.
Yeah, we are. So much sun.
Yeah, me too. I'm a little burnt. The sun's hot in Idaho.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
stingy here.
It's hotter.
Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it.
And the moonlight is it's cold and damp. It's blue. It's putrefactive, and it's colder in moonlight than it is in moonshade, and it's warmer in sunlight than it is in sunshade. And so fundamentally, the lights are different, and that's not really up for debate. When I said that the moon, it's scientific at its core. Like I said, you can observe, measure, and repeat it, and you don't even need tools. You can just go do it. You can go stand in the moonlight. For some reason, that one struck a lot of people wrong, saying I think it really stung at their first grade science because that raises a question of why. If Commander and the girls know, why is my science teacher telling me something else?
Right.
Why? Why are you lying to me about what the moon is? And if it's as easy as proving it yourself with a thermometer that you can get at Lowe's, or you can just go stand in the moonshade or the moonlight.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's not warm at all.
When you sleep outside, you instinctively go to the shade of the moon.
Right.
Because it's colder in the moonlight.
Yeah.
You would instinctly do that if you were sleeping
Isn't
outside.
it combustible too? Like, isn't it more combustible?
It's easier, yeah.
Or something like that.
So that is a
We need to
scientific
test
fact.
this. Okay.
I'd love to test it sometime, but on a full moon it'd be the easiest. But that is a fact. Although negligible, it is a fact that moonlight will increase combustion. It's easier to keep a fire going under direct moonlight than it is under direct sunlight. Also, the sun, when you magnify sunlight, like that video I sent you earlier, when you magnify sunlight, there's not just an increase in temperature, but an incredibly powerful increase in temperature. It lights things on fire.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Like,
not
take a
that I've ever done
I used to do that and burnt ants.
Yeah, you can kill things with
This
that.
is before we had iPhones, kids. we
You can
burnt
kill
ants
things.
with magnifying glass.
And if you do that with moonlight, there's no increase in temperature. You can put your hand right under the same.
Does it decrease in temperature?
No,
Okay.
nothing happens.
Huh, okay. It would have been
question,
cool if it would have decreased.
That would have been freaky.
You know,
I
like
know.
freeze things.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
that would have been wild.
It could be very negligible. Like it could just be, a tenth of a degree, which is very possible.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know it doesn't start things on fire. And that you can test yourself. So
Right. Well, and also, sorry, not to cut you off, but like if you were to take a mirror, reflect the sun, and then reflect it into the magnifying glass, it's still going to start something on fire. You're reflecting the actual light of the sun. You can use mirrors and bounce it off mirrors to like start a fire.
Right.
So it's like, it's interesting because it's like if the moonlight is clearly reflecting sunlight, then you should, in theory, be able to do that with the moonlight as well.
That's scientific too.
Yeah.
If something is reflecting something else's light, it carries the same characteristics. And that's science. You can do that with a lighter. You can do that with a light bulb.
Yeah.
You can do it with a lunch tray that bouncing. Like you can do it with something and test that. But the properties of moonlight are completely the opposite. That's what a yin yang is. It's like we're so blind to symbolism that this is the most classic symbol of all time, a yin yang.
Yeah.
There's nothing more classic than that. Maybe not even a smiley face. Like maybe a stick figure, maybe. But the yin yang is one of those things that's like, you're just ignoring everything.
Right.
It's made to show the beauty of opposites, black, white, up, down, male, female, left, right, north, south, day and night, hot and cold. It's meant to represent the duality of our world coming into one, which is where we're at.
Okay. I just thought of something too, of like experiments that we could do. So I don't know if you do this, maybe it's just me, But like when my husband's driving sometimes, I'll like have my phone, and if I notice it like on the ceiling, I'll just like right in his face. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't see. I wonder like with moonlight, like what that would look like reflected.
Probably just be a lot more mild because the moon's not nearly as bright, I would think.
I don't know. I mean, the sun, like, if you look at the sun, it's just as bright as, like, if I were trying to, like, reflect the light into your eyes using my phone.
Do you mean would it hurt your eyes?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, I wonder, like, the intensity. I wonder if it would change or if it would just be like...
It's extremely bright.
Okay.
It multiplies in brightness.
It does,
but not in heat.
No, okay. Okay.
Yeah. It gets...
We should try this.
It gets blinding. But yeah, we can try that. I'd love to do some experiments.
You know what we need to do? We need to like eventually put together like a retreat people can pay for. We're going to go out in the desert and we're going to have all these experiments lined up. Yep, stars. We're going to test out temperature of the moon. We're going to do,
We're going to light some fires.
That one myself. Yeah, the temperature of the moon one I did.
That'd be fun.
I did that one in Colorado, the moonlight one, because I was like, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was already not on the flat earth train, but I was already on the conspiracy train. And I was like, is that true?
But just, I mean, it's instant proof. The first time I heard that was some people took laser thermometers and said, the moon shade is warmer than the moonlight. And I was like, done. That's not the sun. It's just instant. It's just an easy conclusion.
And it's like you were saying, just the properties alone. It's like sunlight is UV. It's like, it's going to be healing. It's going to kill
the opposite.
Things. Whereas moonlight...
And it would still have the same properties.
It's making things decay, you know? Mm-hmm. I think we joked about staying out of the moonlight because we're like, we don't want
to decay.
And it's damp.
Yeah.
It'll make you ugly.
Make you ugly like a vampire.
It'll make you an ugly vampire.
So what about like moon phases? Because we're taught about, you know... Well, yeah, let's talk about moon phases. Because, go ahead.
So the moon is the most mysterious object, I think, in our sky. And that's just because we can look at it. Perhaps the sun would be more mysterious, but I can't look at it. You can't look at it. You can't study it. It's hard to study.
Okay, so since we're talking about the moon phases, I wanted to ask your thoughts on this. The partial lunar eclipse. Mm-hmm. People are saying that also debunks the globe. Because it was historically famous because it occurred while both the moon and the sun were both visible briefly on opposite horizons at the same time.
Yes. The moon, my best guess, and this is the observer's best guess, this is someone who's watched the moon, unlike a lot of people who tell me not to reproduce. I'm not bitter about it. I know more than someone who doesn't look at it. It's that simple. I'm a keen observer of it. I tracked it in Colorado quite a bit at night. I knew where it was going to be. And I know that, so I told you I lived in Europe for quite some time, and you see the same face of the moon. Mm-hmm. There's kind of a C on the moon. And then so if you see it like this in America, you might see it like this in Germany. It's the same exact face, though. Mm-hmm. It's just turned. So that's not possible if it was a sphere. And it's not possible if we were on a sphere.
Okay. Right. Have you noticed, though? I've seen the moon where it looks like the Cheshire Cat smile.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it in like a crescent, too. But it's like I've seen it both ways.
So the moon, it doesn't rotate, which is obvious if you've looked at it. But again, I get pushback on that.
You'd be able to see it rotating because when you look at the moon, it has very distinct like impressions in it.
Well, the quote unquote craters are always like, the
or
same.
Even like a map, if you want to say like reflected of like the continents, plus some extra outerlying continents. But they're always there. They're always the same. They're never moving.
Well, what the moon does do is it oscillates.
Okay.
Goes like this. To the observer.
Uh-huh.
It's not rotating. It doesn't rotate.
It's oscillating. Yeah.
It's just back and forth and a slight turn, and then it corrects. So the moon, we know that no matter where you are on Earth, you only see one face of the moon. No matter where you are on Earth, the moon goes through its phases. It doesn't appear different to someone in Korea. It doesn't appear different to someone in Australia. It's going through the same phase.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Mysterious.
Case closed.
There's something about it. There's overwhelming evidence that the moon powers itself up and powers itself down in its own phases. And something else I discovered in Colorado when I was studying the moon was the new moon. A lot of people don't even know what a new moon is. It's when there's no moon in the sky. Okay. And 99% of the people who tell me to jump off a bridge don't even know that, you know? So when you track the moon, you can predict where it's going to rise. And on a new moon, you would expect to see, this ties into the solar eclipse too. You would expect to see a black void, a disk, a black nothingness moving through the night sky but there's nothing there. The moon ceases to exist. It's not in the sky. It's gone. And a solar eclipse only happens at a new moon. So,
I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah. So we know that the moon isn't there, yet it shows up in front of the sun. But it's not there because I was seeing stars where it should be.
Right.
It's not there, period.
Which is why you can sometimes see like stars through the moon sometimes.
It's not a physical object, I don't think, personally.
You think it's like a hologram? Like, what do you think it is?
It's something that I don't understand.
Okay. It's the biggest mystery, like you said.
That no one, maybe a special group of people understand. Perhaps.
Sure.
It's people like the lizard people that live on the moon.
Perhaps. Well, that's what David Icke would say.
They do their rituals based on moon phases, so it's definitely significant.
There's a huge reason for all that, and I believe there are people who know what happens after death, and they can control it, and there are people who know what's going on.
100% believe that.
A group of people who knows what the moon is, because they're using the vaccine schedule in accordance with the moon phase schedule. Right. Like that, if that's true, which it is, if it is, that requires a deeper dive into the moon and its power and what exactly it is.
Okay, so I kind of am having things bounce around in my head. I'm just going to throw it out there because this is just purely speculation. So parasites are more active during full moons. In a lot of the vaccines, they're finding there are a lot of parasites that they're actually putting in, like eggs, like parasitic eggs and different types of things like that. So I wonder if that may have some correlation. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, but...
Yeah, there's... lunar activity is known to influence all living things. Lunatic.
Yeah.
There's more rapes and murders.
What is it? What is it? Serotonin. Your body produces more serotonin during full moons also.
Probably because the moon is draining it.
Okay. Which is what parasites feed on.
It's interesting.
So,
yeah. The moon, there's a reason it's associated with vampirism.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason it's associated with witchcraft.
Oh, yeah. My dog.
Werewolves.
She's a calm girl, but every once in a while she'll get the zoomies in the house and she acts like crazy. And I'm like, is it a full moon? And I'll look and it's a full moon.
It literally is.
Like,
really?
Oh, yeah. Annie, she's very in tune with the moon.
It affects...
I could tell when it's a full moon because of how she's behaving.
It's also a feminine.
Right. It is a feminine thing.
There's cycles.
Yeah.
It's a cycle thing. It's a intuitive and energetic thing. And the moon, of course, is associated with femininity and the sun with masculinity for obvious reasons. The sun is brutal and strong and you better stay out of the way. And the moon is gentle and sweet and it comes at night to help you sleep. You know, all those things.
Sure.
Putrefies you.
And if you leave a decaying open wound in it, it's going to get worse.
Ew, that's terrible.
If the moon is not visible on the new moon, and the new moon only happens, or you can only see a solar eclipse because of a new moon, the next question is, what is crossing over the path of the sun?
Oh.
Because the moon's not there. I've already concluded that 10 years ago. It's not there. There is no moon in the sky. And even a NASA scientist might say, well, that's the new moon. There is no moon in the sky. Well, where the fuck does it go then, doctor? Where is it? You don't see it for sometimes up to 36 hours. Where is it? It's in the sky every other night, except for that. Yet it crosses over the sun and creates a solar eclipse. Is that not one of the most curious things?
It is.
Ever?
And also the fact that we just stated, like, you can sometimes see, like, stars through it. So if it's not really a solid object, how is it completely blocking out
it wouldn't.
the sun?
Very good point.
So that's part of the thing of, like, you mentioned Nibiru earlier on, Planet X.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you mention that?
Nibiru?
Yeah. I don't even know how to say it.
I think that's how you say it. I don't know.
I think so, too.
I think so.
So the old Mayan calendar, it showed 3 celestial bodies in the sky. And they call it Planet X, too. So it showed the sun, the moon, and Nibiru. It showed another body that crosses over the sun during the solar eclipse.
So
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just thinking, if Planet X we only notice it though during an eclipse. So does that mean it's invisible at all other times?
As visible as the waning crescent.
Right.
Like there's something you can see stars through the blackness of the crescent.
Well, yes, I
it's
know
not
that.
There.
No.
Like it disappears and then it regenerates and it reaches into full power mode in full moon. And then there's things like the full blood moon. And then there's like so there's different generation it's so hard to describe. It's powering itself up and powering itself down. And we feel its energy without a doubt. Your dog goes crazy, and that's how you know there's a full moon.
Yep.
If your dog is acting up, that's a sign, you know? More rapes and murders and more violence happens on a full moon. Like all the association with evil and vampires and witchcraft and magic and all those things that happen, you know, beyond midnight. It has properties that we either aren't meant to know about or we're not supposed to know about. Or that we're especially probably not supposed to harness for our own advancement,
or just information that they've suppressed or taken away, written out of history.
Yeah, the dumber we are with the celestial bodies, because it's an echo of us, you know, which I think even Jesus Christ taught. Like we are all part of everything that's going on up there, you know.
Yeah.
And loving thy neighbor is loving the sun. It's also loving the moon. It's also being gentle with the person who, you know, may not know better. Or, you know, that,
God loves all his creation.
And he
everything
created
he created.
All that stuff too. And it's still a mystery. The eclipses, they shouldn't both be called eclipses because they are completely different events. They are related. There's some kind of solar handshake going on, but they may not be correlated in that way. So, yes, you can only have a solar eclipse when there's a new moon. However, it's not the moon crossing the solar eclipse. So there's some kind of correlation, but it's not directly, it's some kind of divine timing that we don't understand.
Right.
You know?
Right. And it is like speaking of time, it's like a giant clock, you know, because that's another thing people are like, well, how does time work on a flat earth? Well, it's extremely... And I've heard you talk about this, Commander. Like, it's just very simple. It's literally just a big clock above us. Everything just...
There's an old clock on a church
Prague.
In Prague, yeah. I flew into Prague a couple times, and of course I just went and saw it. I was a flat earther at the time, so I went and saw it. And yes, it's there. It shows the zodiac. It shows the sun and the moon rotating overhead like hands on a clock. It's undeniable. It's hyper accurate, and it's not that complicated.
Exactly.
People just want to overcomplicate
They do.
it.
Well, that's what it is too. Like with the globe and everything we're taught, it's so complex, and that's how they confuse you too, and like get you to believe it. Because if you just think about it in a simple term, this makes zero sense. So they have to throw out weird calculations and made up theories like gravity to make it make sense and to shut you up. So, yeah, I think it takes a lot more faith to believe in this than it does to believe we're on a flat stationary plane, because that's what you experience, that's what you observe. It's testable, like you said. But this, you know, let's talk about the curvature of the earth. So they say it's 8 inches per mile squared. And over and over again, people disprove that, because you can go, let's say for example, Chicago, the Milwaukee.
That's an easy
one. That one, right, with the Lake Michigan.
Yeah, you can go to the Indiana Dunes State Park, which I've done many times. Of course, I did this 10 years ago, so this is old news. Indiana Dunes State Park, I think it's 43 miles. You can see the Chicago skyline clearly. And you can see it, you can zoom all the way in on it. And it's not a mirage. And you can see
because that was their excuse.
It's a mirage.
It's a mirage. What you're seeing is not really what you're seeing.
They came on the news and said that.
Yeah, they had to, because
they had to say that. Why is it so important? Why can't I know that I'm seeing Chicago?
Exactly.
Why does it have to be an illusion? Because they're magicians. That's why it has to be an illusion.
Or even just like if you stand on the shores of Alaska, you can see across the ocean to Russia.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, I grew up on the coast, and I used to always think that I was seeing boats going over the curve, because that's what I was told. But no, if you take out a camera, zoom in, you pull up the whole boat, you take out a telescope, you can pull the whole boat up again for so many miles that would make no sense, because the boat would be hundreds and hundreds of feet below the curve, and yet we're able to see it for a great distance. So that, again, like, these are things that we can easily prove. It's very simple. And the truth is simple in a lot of ways. What are we looking at?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What?
Oh, if I had a knife, I would cut it and splay it out like the actual Earth. Okay, this is hilarious. I've never seen this before on a globe. This is super telling. See, it says Tropic of Cancer right here. Remember what we were talking about?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Pretend I ripped this open and splayed it out. So now it's a big flat Earth map.
Uh-huh.
Where it says Tropic of Cancer, that's the sun's path. That's why the days are longer in the summer. And then Tropic of Capricorn's down here.
Yeah, there you go.
And the sun is taking
it's a wider
path,
circle.
So the days are shorter and the sun is lower.
It makes so
in the
much
sky.
sense.
Yeah.
They're literally telling you on the latitude lines.
Yeah.
This is the Tropic of Cancer. This is why the days are longer.
Because it's more overhead.
It's right over your head.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Tropic of Capricorn down here, the sun is rotating a wider.
Which is why they'll have those long days.
Oh.
Well, and also like the seasons, like it makes you realize like spring and summer are actually not different. They're just coming in and out of like hot and cold.
Well, it's the sun is the sun is farther away during the winter.
Well, okay, so what I'm saying is like Capricorn's here, and then when you go out, it's what did you say?
It was Cancer and then Capricorn.
Cancer's inside.
And Capricorn's out.
Capricorn's outside.
But what I'm saying is like, so the sun is like going in and out. It's making a wider path and then it's making a smaller, tighter one. So what I'm saying is like summer, let's say winter's out here, summer's here. So in between, so you got summer, then it goes fall, winter. Did I do that backwards?
No, you're right.
Yeah. And then you go back in, it's spring and then summer. So really fall and spring are like, they're the same. You're just coming out.
Oh, you know I see what you're saying. I see. Yes.
It's like the Earth and the system, our system that we're a part of is breathing almost. It has a life cycle.
Like an inhale and exhale.
Yeah, it goes in and out. It dies and is reborn, just like everything else. Just like you and me and trees and animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
and tides, it's
it
breathing.
makes sense when you look at it on a map that's open.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
very stupid when you look at it like this. It makes no sense. Nothing makes sense. Tides don't make sense. The tide here in the Isle of Wight, which is in the UK, the tide here is 60 feet. Then you can come over here and the tide is 1 foot. It doesn't make any sense. If the moon was creating the tides, it would be uniform. It would affect all water, but it only affects salt water. Because I grew up.
That's a good point.
Lake Ontario here. And do you know what the tide is there?
I don't know.
It doesn't exist.
Because it's not salt water.
There is no tide.
Right. So, that's clearly showing the moon's not the one dictating the tides.
Here, the Mediterranean Sea, right? Yeah. The Mediterranean Sea here, which is saltwater, the tide is not very serious here. So, like I speculate and like I choose to believe, I think the tides are coming from the North Pole here, and I think it's the Earth breathing through the torus field like we talked about last night. That's why you get the Aurora Borealis up here, which you can see from North Dakota. I've seen it before when I was working in North Dakota. But the reason the tide isn't strong in here is because look at the inlet right there.
Right.
It's the Strait of Gibraltar.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, the Strait of Gibraltar. The tide is not serious in the Mediterranean, even though it's saltwater, and it is touching the ocean. It's part of the ocean. But because it's cut off by this little strait right here, it's just not as powerful. Whereas right here, not even far away, it's 60 feet.
Yeah.
That's an entire city underwater and then above water and then underwater and above water. It doesn't make any sense. It's not uniform anywhere.
So it's not the moon. So you're saying that it's not the moon that is causing the tides like we've been told.
No.
That's
a gravitational lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that has to do with gravity. Yeah.
Yeah, Isaac Newton, see just a natural eye roll when you said that. Isaac Newton confessed himself that...
he made that up. That he threw the apple in the sky and it fell on his own head.
He said that his theory about tides was the least satisfactory part of his theory of gravity. And what he meant by that was he jammed that in at the very end. Because it has to be that way. So he's some brainy nerd and autistic, and he forced something in there, and it's a bunch of nonsense, and it's a fucking lie. Sorry, I don't mean to sound so, but I get fired up with this. So you grew up in California, right?
Yes.
Did you know that there's a 700-mile hump, 700 miles high hump of water between you.
No.
And yeah, so according to the ball model, with a radius of 3,959 miles from LA to Hawaii, there's a 700-mile high hump of water.
Wow.
Because water doesn't, water, you know.
Water's flat. Do you think that that's true?
No, that doesn't make any sense.
It's very stupid.
Yeah, that is. Well, water will always find its level and always be flat and level.
Water doesn't hump.
It doesn't hump.
It's not
water doesn't hump. Hashtag.
It's not scientific. That's what I mean.
You just beat me.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
It's not observable, measurable, or repeatable.
Well, you know what's kind of funny is this blow up Earth kind of has a hump right there, and I'm like trying to visualize that in real life, and it's like, yeah, that makes zero sense.
It's
also water would never stick to a spinning ball. Let's talk. That's just just silly.
That's the most obvious.
And that's one you could also prove. Like you can take a tennis ball, soak it in water, throw it. Guess what? All the water slaps to the middle and spins off. That's what would be happening.
And
nothing could exist on a spinning ball.
Also, a lot of people don't think about this one. The Earth would spin faster at the equator.
Oh yeah, 1,000 at the equator, right?
1,040 at the equator. Something like less than 80 all around here.
Yeah. But yeah, you can have no wind.
Zero wind whatsoever.
Yep.
Well, Kelly, what are you, a conspiracy theorist? That's because the atmosphere is moving with the... Oh, that's the other thing we gotta talk about.
Coriolis effect. Let's talk about how selective that is.
Yeah, the Coriolis effect. So I've been getting a lot of questions about that. People think they can outsmart me, which is super funny. But people say, well, how come? Now, I actually don't know this, which is fine. I don't really care. I'm not afraid to say that. You can Google it. I'm not going to Google it on the show, but I'm going to assume that they don't cross the equator, which I suppose is a fact. They don't cross the equator. So again, we're going to splay this out and pretend it's a flat Earth map. So if north is more powerful, perhaps it's only going to spin northeast. Right. It would be spinning this way. And then it doesn't cross the equator because south becomes more powerful, so it dies. Whereas here, it'll spin southwest this way. And then when it comes close to the equator, it dies because north becomes more powerful. I think it has to do with magnetism, personally.
I agree.
I think so.
We think magnetism, too.
And then things like the sniper bullet, that's a lie. I challenge anybody. I don't care if you're a quartermaster on a submarine. I don't care if you're a master ace sniper. I don't care. You do not take into account the curve of the Earth,
nope,
or the rotation of the Earth, because you will miss.
You take into account
wind and atmospheric conditions. I mean, imagine like having the amount of time it would take them to sit there and calculate, because depending on if you're shooting north, east, south, or west, that's going to really change the way you aim that bullet.
Yeah,
then
pure theater.
That bullet's coming back to you if you shoot the wrong way.
But let's talk about how fun. Exactly, how funny is that though? That they say that snipers have to take that into account, but then pilots do not, because pilots don't have to take into account that the Earth is spinning below them and having to land on runways. Let's say at the equator, you're landing on a 1,000-mile-per-hour runway. Also, if you're going with the spin of the Earth, at what do planes fly? 500 commercial plane. Yep. You would never make it there. But then they'll say, oh, it's because planes are in the atmosphere, it's being pulled with it. But then not a bullet. Oh, and also missiles and lasers. Laser beams will go across a whole lake, and there's no way that should be able to happen. Like a certain distance, right? If there's a curve. Yeah.
This is my favorite subject, what you're popping off about right now. Lighthouses would be
irrelevant.
Lighthouses would be irrelevant.
Yep.
You wouldn't be able to see it beyond, even if you were on like a 30, 40-foot ship, which you're usually not. I mean, high. You wouldn't be able to see it beyond 6-7 miles.
Exactly.
But you can see lighthouses tens of miles.
Exactly.
It's not possible. So yeah, the Coriolis effect is a big fat lie. And I think that people just parrot that because, people often try and use the Occam's razor against me. And honestly, that's my favorite weapon is Occam's razor. Do you guys know what that is?
I don't.
That's, I'll sum it up. It's kind of like a stupid, nerdy principle that the most basic explanation is usually the right one. So people try and use that against me. And I say, well, I can't tell if you're on my team or not because, the most basic explanation is that we're not on a sphere, yet you're using it the other way around. It's like you're the one who's not using Occam's razor correctly. You're the one who's overcomplicating it with this insanely autistic gravitational nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I just walk outside and enjoy the day. I don't know what you're even talking about. I'm the Occam's razor guy. You're not.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't prove that we're on a spinning ball. And then here's the thing, too. It's like the main reason why we believe this is because we were shown images from NASA. So, but then when you start looking into NASA and seeing how that was even founded by Project Paperclip, which was all the Nazis came over and started it, and also Freemasons, and they admit that almost all of their images are composites. They're just images. They're not real photos of the Earth. And you could see where they've used clone tools over clouds, and they've even admitted to editing these quote unquote photos. But but if that's all a lie, which you look into NASA, it doesn't take too long to figure that out, then like you just lost, one of the biggest reasons why you believe what you believe. It's a government entity, agency.
But the governments know, we don't, because it's like, look at their maps too.
Oh, yeah, like the
World Health Organization,
NATO.
That's what I was thinking of. NATO has the flat Earth map.
So all that has to do with consolidating power, and that's another thing with the world wars and stuff. So after World War I, we had the League of Nations, which was everybody fucked Germany, just like World War II. Ring any bells? Then we had the United Nations. So after each great war, there's a consolidation of power, basically, is what I'm saying. And when you consolidate power, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Once you have UN, you know what's coming next. There's few countries that aren't in the UN. Do you know which ones they are?
The ones getting attacked?
The ones that everyone hates.
The ones that don't have centralized baking?
Ooh. Whole different podcast.
Yeah,
Brand new podcast. So there's the consolidation of power, and that's how the hierarchy works. And people don't understand. This is really hard for people. I'm really learning a lot doing the Instagram thing. I'm learning about what the average person who is a knucklehead goes through life thinking. And they always say I must be a silly voter this way or another. Or how could I say that when Russia's our enemy? Or China would have said something about the moon landing. And I just pinch the bridge of my nose and I'm like, you people don't understand that there are entities way above government, way above them. That's world stage stuff. That's children's theater. That is for people who are sweating and getting to work on time, and they're stressing about the NASCAR race, and you're wearing a sports jersey. I'm serious. It's funny because it's supposed to be funny. Like the world stage is funny. And that's for people who aren't critical thinkers.
Okay, so Coriolis effect. We've talked about gravity. We've talked about tides. Talked about how the sun and moon is like basically a clock that goes over us. How the stars are always the same. How you could see things for way farther than you're supposed to see them. NASA has been putting out fake images forever.
Oh God, NASA! Yeah. We should do a show where the three of us sit at a computer and watch NASA videos, and I'll just talk shit over it.
Can we?
It would be
That'd be hilarious.
It would be the funniest thing. Like we would go viral instantly.
We should do this.
Yeah, that's my passion, is making fun of NASA, because it's so absolutely childish.
You mean this? The hair?
The hair is the one.
We were like, let's hang upside down over
the
couch.
No, we have an idea for a reel, so we're going to hang upside down over the back of a couch at home. And our hair is going to be hanging upside down. Then we're going to like put the ISS behind us and flip us over so it looks like our hair is standing up.
This is brilliant.
And then we're going to we're going to be just doing funny things. Like I envision like my lip gloss floating by, and I grab it and like put it on and like let it go, and it just...
I think that's a great idea.
We're on the ISS and like just make it so stupid.
The ISS is, it's one of those things that like, if you believe that, I cannot help you. If you think that space is real is another thing, but if you think that NASA is telling the truth, like the lies are so obvious, I think a layman could spot it, but they don't want to.
They don't want to.
And that's the same thing with like, I don't know if you guys, we didn't even talk about the elite gender inversion and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yes.
It's one of those things that if you have eyes to see it, it's so easy to see.
So easy.
But if you don't want to look at it, if you can't accept it, your eyes see it, but your brain can't accept it. Your mind and heart can't accept it. And that's where you get people. That's where the deception is really strong. And that's what George Orwell said. He said, his real name was Eric Blair. I think he's from London. Eric Blair. But he wrote in 1984, they told you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears, and that was their final and most essential command. And what they mean, how I interpret it, is you walk outside and like this is the easiest flat earth thought experiment. If no one told you that you lived on a ball, would you think that?
Absolutely not.
You would have no reason to ever think that. There's no indication whatsoever that you're spinning on a ball in space. Nothing. Ancient astronomers, there's no way they thought that.
No,
they didn't.
No way.
Well, and even like with astronomy, they say you can like reverse the stars and like go backwards and see exactly the position of the stars in like, let's say you want to go back 1,000 years because they are on a schedule. You can rewind the clock of time or the stars and see where the stars were positioned 1,000 years ago.
And you can do it in the future.
They're
not going to move.
Well, and that's how they like predict. It's not really a prediction. They just understand the cycles of the skies.
No.
So it's like if we were spinning, we would not be able to go backwards and see that.
It would be an impossible calculation because, like I said, there's 4 motions. And they would be equally unpredictable, and they're all at different speeds. So you would multiply the speeds to get the grand total speed.
Right. Well, and everything's
it would be
expanding.
in the billions of miles an hour.
Well, and things would just be
stupid.
so distorted. Like this constellation would not be the same. It would be stretched because everything's expanding.
And how are we not running into more things?
Yeah.
Meteorites.
Think about that. Like how much is supposedly out there, and we're just not running in. The sun's not running into stuff.
I mean, what can I say? The Earth is a good driver.
Yeah, the sun is, or the galaxy, or whatever,
or the sun, whatever's. The sun's
pulling us,
the moon, or the Earth.
Yeah.
There should be way more shit crashing into us,
yeah,
and it should
100%.
Yeah, and all meteor. I wanted to talk about this too. Supposed meteor craters on Earth. That's a fucking lie.
I want to hear your theory on this because we have one.
Okay, well, let's hear yours. Go ahead.
Are you sure? Okay. So our theory is going back to Genesis 6. The 200 watchers that God sent down and ended up procreating with women. There are just under, it's like 190 something craters that have been found.
Like giant ones.
Giant ones. And there's no debris. They're just these big craters.
That was my question.
So,
where the fuck is the meteor?
Oh, you know what's funny? They'll say, "Oh, it burned up," and I'm like, "Well, then if it burned up, it wouldn't have made the crater because it would have already been burnt
it
up."
Been gone. Yeah,
and it's also made of iron. So where the fuck is it?
Right. So, but think about that. If they have found almost 200 of these giant craters, and there's 200 watchers that shot down from heaven to Earth, could that be the craters left by the watchers that came down and hit the Earth? And maybe the
ones are in the ocean,
or probably in the ocean, are covered by water now, because it's like 190 something giant craters, and there's 200 angels that were shot down from heaven. And they depict this a lot in movies and shows of, like, even in like Thor and stuff, them getting shot down from
Superman.
the sky, and they boom and they create these huge craters.
Yeah,
which we know Hollywood shows the truth all the time.
Lord of the Ring TV series, when Gandalf came down, did you watch that? Okay, so they made a series out of the Lord of the Rings. Gandalf comes down, hits the Earth. He like doesn't have memory of who he is, but it leaves like this huge crater in the Earth. So I was like, interesting.
So that's our theory as to why there's no debris, because it was never a rock. It was a being.
I like that. And the Watchers, the term you keep using, it's a biblical term, right?
It is. They were supposed to come watch over humanity, but instead they desired the women and wanted to be worshipped. And
it's also a non-biblical term. Psychics and stuff who aren't religious use that term.
Oh.
And there's what other group of people use that term? Is it the Gnostics?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I think it's the Gnostics who use that term, the Watchers. And people who have abduction experiences also use the term the Watchers.
I think they're one and the same.
That's what we're saying. Like she was saying before.
Aliens.
Like, it's all ties back to Genesis 6, where it all started. And it's the same entities that are ruling the world and doing what they're doing today. And it makes everything make sense.
Because when they came down in exchange for the daughters of man, they gave them what Enoch says was useless knowledge. So the cutting of roots to make herbs and plants and stuff, like
pharmakia came from the Watchers.
Makeup, weaponry, music.
Steel.
All that came from them.
All that knowledge came from them. Reading and writing, pen and paper.
So all the Egyptian gods, all the Greek gods, all the Roman gods, all the Norse
all
gods,
tied back. Yep.
all the biblical gods.
Yeah.
Can all kind of be tied back to one of the Watchers, like Apollo, Zeus, all of those.
Oh, yeah.
Hermes, Ra, like all of the gods of Egypt.
Which is why they still worship them today.
Yeah.
Like CERN, which they supposedly just shut down. They have the Shiva, who is the goddess of destruction out there. I mean, I think these are real entities. I think are all real.
Again,
I think
like
weird.
Queen of Heaven.
That one's weird.
Isn't that weird? Did you ever watch their opening ceremony several years ago of CERN? It's the most demonic performance you will ever see. It's so bizarre. There's nothing normal about it at all. And supposedly this is just some sort of, scientific lab
opening
that they're just
ceremony.
Yeah,
but they make it so it's very demonic.
Yeah.
So I don't have a theory about it, but I definitely have questions about it. Number one is, where the fuck are the meteors? That's number one. And then the other thing is, why are they all straight down? If they were meteors, wouldn't they streak? Wouldn't they hit?
Skid
wouldn't
mark.
they leave a trail? Wouldn't they do something? Why are they all directly straight down?
Yeah.
That's the most curious thing, I think.
Yeah.
That is very,
Cast
very
down.
much. Same with the moon craters. They're all, if that's what they are, all the pictures, like the fake photos, I think that we all agree. They send us, they're all like, all the craters are straight down. There's nothing, like you said, is coming in sideways.
And then
so it's the same thing.
Too.
And the same depth.
None
So
of them
are the
deep.
pictures even real then?
No, they're not.
Okay.
But
that's
it's
what
just
I'm
funny
saying.
that that's how they present them.
That's because they like photoshopped and like copy and pasted.
One of the photos of the Earth from one of the Apollo missions, it's from the moon's surface, and they shot back at the Earth, and the Earth was like half illuminated.
Yeah, right.
And people took that image into Photoshop, brought all the levels down, and you could see a box where they pasted in
They
the
just literally
Earth.
taped it in.
It's literally, it's
like such a poor job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they
Well,
don't
it
even
goes
have
to
to try
show-
that hard. That's the thing. That's
It
what's
goes to
sad.
show almost like human nature. It's like it doesn't take long for humans to destroy something. Like we invent the photograph, the next day people were pasting pictures together and making fake pictures. We invent the airplane, and 2 months later we're throwing grenades at each other out of it. It doesn't take long for people to start deceiving each other with all our fun little creations.
And I think human nature is just bent towards chaos and destruction anyways. I think we're just like, that's the natural like tilt, I think,
Do you
of
believe
humanity. I do.
You do?
I think so. I mean, I feel like you were saying, even it's just like you can have something beautiful and it doesn't take long for people to ruin or destroy it.
Yeah.
So
I think I agree, but I also think like it's a product of our environment. I think if we lived in a world that was totally different, I think people would be much better.
I don't know.
think it's
I feel like I think humanity in general just is like at its core is evil,
Really?
I do. I think there are good people, but I think that like if you have a group of like 100 people, out of that 100 people though, how many are actually like nice people, Not all of them. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe not all humanity, but I'm just saying like I think the overall bend of humanity, I would say it's like destructive. Like we ruin everything that we come in contact with, like our waters, our land, like, and I'm not saying there aren't people that are restoring and trying to make things better, but I just think overall, like you look at the world and it's
Do you think that if you were
not good.
raised on a random tropical island that you would destroy things?
I guess it depends. I don't know.
I mean, not cutting down a tree.
Okay, I'm like, what do we?
Would you monetize the water?
No, I wouldn't.
Me either.
Yeah,
Me neither.
I'm not evil
but
by
I don't
nature.
feel like I don't feel like I'm evil. Like I'm just saying, like
I think again,
yeah.
I think how I see it, like I said, I think it's a product of our environment. They create this, through like everything.
Yeah.
What we're
Create
taught,
scarcity and
what
fear.
we're shown, what we're breathing in, what we're ingesting through our food, what kind of drugs, pharmaceuticals we're on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's that's what's creating this like mass chaos.
Yeah.
It's manufactured.
I mean,
humans do have the ability to be evil instinctively, 100%.
I'm not saying like they're evil, like they're going to go destroy and kill everything. I'm just saying like selfishness and things like that. Like that's just innate in us. Like, you can give like one toy to two toddlers and they're going to fight over it.
That is
You don't
true.
have to teach them to fight over it. It's kind of what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that selfishness is just kind of there. And like that can lead you down past it or not great. So, but I'm not saying like overall, like you were saying, I'm going to like live on an island where I don't have that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I
get what you're
not
saying.
like
Perfect.
yeah. I
It's
don't
an
know.
interesting
I don't know if
point
I'm
that you said
explaining
the
it
kids
well.
will fight over something without there being a competition.
Yeah.
I'd never heard that before. I don't have kids. I don't know anything about kids. So that is interesting to me.
Or if you have like a candy and you have one and like 2 kids, like they're going to fight over it. Like,
or in the they'll learn to lie on their own too.
Yeah,
like when they're little.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
That like the bend is towards like selfishness, I guess is a better way of putting it.
I never thought of that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have kids, so I've never raised humans. I never even considered that.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Something to
That's
mull
interesting.
over. Yeah.
So this has been amazing. I feel like we covered so many topics. Having you out in Boise has been such a treat. I feel like we're going to be long-term friends now. We're in this club together. And if you want to just remind everyone where they can find you, and we'll definitely be tagging you on all the things, but go ahead.
Yep. On Instagram, CMDR Davenport. I go by Commander Davenport. I'm only on Instagram. I'll get banned very quickly from everything else. YouTube is too slow. You know, you can grind for 5 years on YouTube and have 65 followers. I don't see any point in that. So Instagram it is for now. Yeah, find me on there. I really like making fun of people. Drop me a comment. And if you're sincere, you can also DM me, and I answer every single DM. And even if you're insincere and attacking me, I might even answer you too. That's very fun for me.
Those are our favorite to watch, actually.
And then he'll repost it on his stories.
Exactly. It's the best.
But
I'm just here for the comments.
This is my full-time job. I've focused entirely on this. I'm having a lot of fun. I appreciate all the support. And I want to give a quick shout out to my girlfriend, Lisa. I got a couple buddies I want to shout out. My friend from all the way back from college, Mikey, my friend Barry down in Texas, my friend Sam down in Los Angeles. You guys are some real ones, always believing in me and supporting me on this journey, saying, when are you going to get some merch going? We want to support you. When are you going to get merch? All that kind of stuff. So I'll make some stupid t-shirts soon. I think 25K is a good time to start.
You're close. You are close.
Yeah. Give me like 2 weeks. Definitely. Unless I get a banger, but about 2 weeks. Yeah. Thank you. Shout out to you guys. And support goes a long way. Especially I get a lot of DMs of young guys. I told you two last night, I think, or was that even today, where I get DMs from married women who are fucking, you know, like, oh my God, I married a bot. Like, I just need someone to talk to who understands, and I'm there for you. And if you're a young guy, I get a lot of DMs from young guys. They're 14, they're 15. It sounds crazy, but they're young. They see things that their friends don't. They're becoming outcasts slowly. You know, they don't have a lot of friends left. They're suffering in their home life because they're listening to their mother talk about NASA and their dad works for the government. And they're like, none of this is real. So shout out to all you guys who, come for guidance, and I'll be there for you, and I'll help as much as I can. But it is an individual journey, and you did choose to take it. So it's all about taking that responsibility. Male, female, age, irrelevant. You have to grow up, and you have to learn the responsibility, and taking that on yourself. It's the greatest gift, is grabbing that responsibility and saying, I can fix my own world. I can fix the world, and it starts with me. It starts with fixing my world. The best way to do that is eliminating deception from your life. That's probably even biblical to an extent. Is, do you want to die with a heart full of deception? I don't. So I'm going to do my best to remove as much of it as I can before I die. And I think that's part of the mission of evolving, is to get rid of as many lies as you can. And emotion is useful sometimes, just like logic is useful sometimes. You know, perhaps it's not logical to be in love. You know, perhaps emotion won't help you survive for the next day. But a good balance, a good yin-yang of both, and focusing on just bettering yourself. I'm not some tyrant about going to the gym. I'm not some tyrant about your diet, although important, obviously. But I think spirituality is where it starts. If you're sick in the soul, you're going to be sick everywhere else. And that's the key to all of it. Truth. And staying true to yourself, as cliche and as corny as that sounds. Yeah, feel free to DM me, CMDR Davenport.
Love it. Very well said. That's a great way to cap it off.
Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Of course.
This has been so good.
I loved it.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
You're
I've had
awesome.
a great time.
Okay, we'll have you back again.
Till next time.
See you later, NASA. I'll be coming
Peace
for you
out.
again. The Tropic of Capricorn.